24 old messages. Message 1.
This is a test from the handset on talk. The speaker sounds just fine on the handset. The earpiece does, not the loud one. Now I'm going to put it on speakerphone. Okay, speakerphone is on. I'm speaking at the same distance I was just a few seconds ago. Now I'm speaking about a foot away from the telephone. And now I put the telephone down the table, walking further and further away from the telephone to see how good the pickup is. Hopefully the pickup is still clear. I suspect we'll have no range issues.
Message 2.
Okay, looks like we're going to be recording 2 messages because I think I turned it off or something when I was trying to get it off speakerphone. We're back on talk now. This phone has a really nice amount of side tone, and if it just clipped out there, it's because it played the low battery sound. So I'm going across the room. I'm over here by the water equipment. This is as far as I can test it. The antenna is extended, and the antenna does make a difference. There's been some commentary from individuals that say the antenna is fake, but it's definitely not fake. Okay, I'm back in the studio area now. This phone, I really hope it's reliable because I like talking on it. I like the way it works, and I like the features. Over and out.
Message 3.
Thanks! As is the case with many of these speakerphones, the microphone on the front is fake and the microphone resides on the back. I'm going to put this phone, is it still recording? I think it's...
Message 4.
That's up to whether recording I pressed the button or something. I was trying to reposition the phone so that it's sitting flat on this piece of cardboard as if it was sitting on a hard table, because the microphone being underneath the phone relies on the audio reflecting off of a hard surface to work correctly, and the carpet may give an unfair performance assessment. So now I'm moving back from the phone a little bit further. I'm about as far away as I was when I was testing the handset now. So let's see how good this sounds. Now I'm going to do another testing message on this telephone. Not a testing message. We're going to do another testing call after we listen to this message on the mains to see how duplex the speakerphone is, because I think it's not very duplex at all.
Message 5.
Okay, this is testing message number 1 on talk. The handset does not seem to have much of any side tone whatsoever. Now I'll switch it to speakerphone. Still speaking as closely to it as I was before. Now I'm speaking about 1 foot away from the handset. Now it's on the table and I'm speaking at about the 2 foot distance that's described in the instruction book. And just in case it's still picking up clearly.
Message 6.
Now I'm calling from the base, and the handset is not looking promising because the testing answering machine hung up while I was recording, and that's the same kind of behavior that was experienced with the 46 to 49 megahertz Sanyo telephone. The outgoing audio seemed to be very, very quiet, borderline non-existent. I'm going to switch back to the handset. Apparently I can't do that. The handset is talking flash. It's flash, talking flash. The talk button is flashing, and it won't let me answer it. So I guess I'll have to hang up and call back from the handset.
Message 7.
Final testing message with the handset. Whoops, I almost... Message
8.
This is a test with handset number 1 on talk. Had a fair bit of side tone at the beginning. That seems to have gone away. Although there is still a little bit. Kind of nice for a newer cordless telephone. Okay, now I'm going to put the telephone on speaker. Okay, it's on the speakerphone now. I'm still speaking very close to the telephone. Now I've set the telephone down on the table. I'm speaking about a 15 inches away from the telephone at a moderate volume. And this handset doesn't seem to want to stay upright on the table. Oops. I'm going to, well, I guess this has got to lay down flat. I want to move away from the table there, and we'll see if the pickup is still good. I'm about 4 feet away.
Message 9.
This is to test handset number 2 on speakerphone and on talk.
Message 10.
This is to test handset number 3 on talk and on speakerphone.
Message 11.
And this final testing message will let us hear what it sounds like when you put the telephone back into the cradle while it's still on talk.
Message 12.
This is a test from the RadioShack 2554 telephone. Other than the minor sensitivity issue with the buttons, it seems to be working correctly.
Message 13.
This is testing message number 1 from handset number 1 on talk. Now it's on the speakerphone, and I'm speaking at a pretty moderate distance for speakerphone. Now the handset is on the table, and I'm going to start moving away from the telephone. Right now I'm about 2 feet away from the telephone, and I'll go back a little further. Now we're at about 3 feet. Back a little more. Now we're at about 4 feet. Further, it's about 5 feet. Must have a pretty good pickup.
Message 14.
What's that smell? Oh no, stop!
Message 15.
This is testing message number 3 to check the distance to make sure the range is okay. And I'm approaching the motor equipment now. I'm as far away as I can get from the base. If the reception is clear, then the telephone is working correctly.
Message 16.
Okay, this is testing message number 1 on this 5.8 gigahertz Thompson telephone. I suspect it's the analog. It's on channel 19, and so far it sounds pretty clear. As I mentioned before, if there is a background hum of some kind, that's probably from the adapter. And I don't know what frequency it is. I'm sure it's dual band. I suspect it's 5.8 over 2.4 or 5.8 over 900. I'm near the water equipment and I'm hearing a lot of static already. So the range is probably not very good on this telephone at all. Okay, now I'm going back towards the studio. I've entered into the studio, and I'm going to put this telephone directly onto the cradle so we can hear what it sounds like when it's hung up into the cradle.
Message 17.
I just switched over the battery, so now we're on the other handset, and this is in fact handset 1. The other one was handset number 2. Okay, I'm leaving the studio now, and I'm walking across the other room. I'm almost near the water equipment. I'm hearing the static again on this one as well. Okay, now I'm at the water equipment. I'm still hearing a flutter of static. This one is also on channel 19. I'm going to change that now and select the channel 28. I don't know if channel 28 is any clearer. It sounds about the same to me as far as the static is concerned. And it sounds like this is all transmit static, not receive static, so it definitely is going to be a dual band phone. Okay, I'm back in the studio. I'm going to turn this telephone off via the talk button.
Message 18.
This is a test from handset number 1. I'll transfer transferred over to handset number 2. Okay, this is handset number 2. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Message 19.
This is a testing message from the General Electric Deplorable Digitan Answering System. There's a lot of side tone on here. Oh, the volume is all the way up. Now it's down to normal and there's not as much side tone. Over and out.
Message 20.
This is testing message number 1 from the handset on the left. This is on talk. I'm going to switch it to speakerphone now. Okay, now it's on speakerphone, and for purposes of comparison, I'm speaking into it at the same distance. Now I'm speaking into it a little bit further away. This is about 6 inches away. Now I put it down on the table, and I'm speaking about 1.5 feet away from it. I'm going to slowly move away from the telephone so that we can find out how good the pickup is on this answering machine. I mean, not on the answering machine, on the speakerphone. I'm about 4 feet away from it now, which is about as far as reasonable in a use case like this. And the answering machine hasn't cut off yet, so I guess it's still picking up the audio. So that'll conclude this test for this handset. And I'll put it down into the bass so you can hear what that sounds like.
Message 21.
Oh no, it's stuck! Ah!
Message 22.
Okay, this is testing message number 2. This is on the handset on the right. And I'm going to put it on speakerphone now. And I'm speaking as close as possible to the microphone. Now I put the phone back on the table, and it seems like the pickup is pretty good. Of course, this is not a super accurate use case because if somebody was speaking through the other end, it may not be listening to the microphone as well as it is right now. I've used a similar phone to this, I forget what the model number is, but it's that one that's everywhere. It's like AT&T's equivalent of the 1580 from Uniden. And I get a lot of complaints about the speakerphone on that phone. A lot of people have said it doesn't pick up that well. So maybe this one is better. I'm going to conclude this message. I'll turn it off with the button this time so you can hear what that sounds like.
Message 23.
This is a test of the Brother IntelliFax 620.
Message 24.
Testing the IntelliFax 675. The side tone on this phone is very strange. 1, 2, 3.
End of messages.